welcome back to English Speaking with Xolisa. If it is your first time here, welcome. If not, welcome back. So before we get started, I just want to welcome all the new students here and the ones that have been here for a very long time. Now, as you may know, this channel was designed for the students that are still starting out in their learning process and the ones that have been learning English for a long time. Now, today I want to look at a very important topic: countable and uncountable nouns. Now, I know that sometimes during my conversations with my students, they usually make a mistake when they don't know how to tell if something is a countable noun or if it's an uncountable noun. Now, this might seem like something that, comes naturally, but sometimes it does take a little bit of practice. So let us get started. And if you have any questions, you can write them down below. If you have any suggestions, you can also add them down below. And then don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Now let's get into it. So right at the top, we have the countable nouns. Now, what are those? So our countable nouns, they refer to objects. This can be anything. An object can be, it can be a book. It can just be anything, an object that you can count. It can be people, because remember, you can have one person and 3 or more people. So you can count people individually. And then things. So things, just anything that can be counted. So those fall under our things. Now, all of the things that I have just mentioned, which were our countable nouns, objects, people, and things, these can be counted as individual units. What does that mean? So it means that they both have a singular form and a plural form, meaning you can count them individually, but they can also have a plural form. For example, 1 person, 3 people. 1 book, 5 books. 1 apple, many apples, or 4 apples. So we can use numbers whenever we are talking about countable nouns. So we can use 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Or we can use quantity words. Now, what are these quantity words? So these are words like many, few, several. We can use these words when we talk about countable nouns. Number 1, we can say few cats. So we have few cats. Many cars. So we have many cars. Or we can say we have 6 cars. A few students. A few students. Now, all these words, few, many, several. So all of these words, we can use them with our countable nouns. So instead of using numbers, instead of using 1, 2, 3, we can just use the quantity words. It would still mean the same thing, just that we will not be saying the number specifically. Okay, so moving right on. So when we use countable nouns, we can use them with the indefinite article. So you can use them with a or an. A cat, an apple, a book. So we can use our countable nouns with these indefinite articles, but we can also use it with the definite article, the cat, the dog. So we are specifying which cat, which dog. And now let's look at other examples of countable nouns. And we definitely come across these every day, but let's just refresh our memory. Number one, we have a flower. So we can have one flower, or we can have many flowers, 5 flowers, 5 roses, etc. A shelf, a bookshelf. We can have one, we can have 2 bookshelves. Number three, a table. Just like the others, we can have one table or 5 tables or many tables. Chair, chair. We can have one chair, 2 chairs. An orange. Remember now I'm using our indefinite article, an orange. So I'm just adding an in front of the orange. It still makes it correct. So we have an apple, or we have many apples. Sorry, I meant to say oranges. So an orange. So an orange, we can have an orange or many oranges or 5 oranges. The next one is dog. So we can have one dog, 2 dogs, or many dogs. And the last one is house. Now, when I say the last one, it doesn't mean that these are the only countable nouns that we have. There are many others, but just for this video, we are just going to look at the few that I have mentioned. So let's look at other sentences. So sentence number one, using countable nouns, we can say, there are 3 houses on my street. There are 3 houses on my street. Number two, he has 4 dogs as pets. 4 dogs as pets. And number three, there are many cups on the table. There are many cups on the table. Just meaning that there is more than 1 cup on the table. Now, let us go on. Let us continue and move on to our uncountable nouns. Now, as you have guessed it, our uncountable nouns are different from our countable nouns. So what does this mean? So when we have countable nouns, we are referring to substances, concepts, or things that cannot be counted as individual units. They also do not have a plural form. For example, water, sugar, rice, money, knowledge. So all of these are substances or they are concepts, and they cannot be counted as individual units. So when we talk about uncountable nouns, we don't use numbers. We cannot use numbers, but we can use quantity words. For example, a lot of or a little. Let's look at one example from the things that I mentioned as our uncountable nouns. So we have money. So when we refer to money, what can we say? When we talk about money, so can we say many money or many monies? Now, both of these sentences or statements are incorrect. However, when we talk about money, because we cannot talk about them as individual units or talk about it as individual units, we can say a lot of money. He has a lot of money. Some money. I have some money saved up. Much money. He doesn't have much money. So these are just examples of how we can quantify money. Another thing with uncountable nouns is that they are not used with the indefinite articles a or an. So we cannot say a sugar, and water, or and knowledge, but they can be used with the definite article the. So we can say the water, the rice. Those are just two examples. Now let us look at more examples of our uncountable nouns. So this is just a refresher because we did do them at the beginning, but let's go over them again. So this is our water, our sugar, our information, the air, advice. So all of these things they do not have an individual, so we cannot count them as individuals, and they also do not have a plural form. Let's look at some examples of uncountable nouns in sentences. So the first one, we can say there is some water in the glass. Now, because water is a substance, we cannot count it. So we cannot say one water or two waters. Same as sugar. She put some sugar in her coffee. So also going back to sugar being a substance, we cannot count it as one sugar or two sugars. So we can say, I know that in informal conversation, a lot of people say, I have my coffee or I have my tea with two sugars. So it's just an expression that people use when speaking, but just to indicate that they have 2 teaspoons of sugar or 2 spoons of sugar in their tea. Now, let us do a little exercise to see if you can tell if something is a countable or an uncountable noun. So this is going to be a quick and short exercise. I'm just going to say a word and you have to think whether it is a countable or an uncountable noun. And then we'll just go through them very quickly. So number one, happiness. Is happiness a countable or an uncountable noun? Happiness. Number two, butter. Is butter a countable or uncountable noun? Number three is keys. Keys. Number four is chairs. Chairs. Is chairs a countable or an uncountable noun? Number five, apple. Apple. Number six, knowledge. Knowledge. Number seven, milk. Milk. Number eight, love. Love. Number nine, computer. Computer. And number 10, houses. So tell me how many you got correct in the comments down below. If you like this video and you would like to see more like this, leave a message down below and let me know some of your suggestions, what you would like us to look at next, and how well you did in this lesson. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.